I think this is a very important thing to know because a lot of people would say, they wouldn't know if he was abusive, or maybe they didn't see the same things, or they didn't see it the same way. And that's because things that happen, outside of public view are a lot different than the things that happen in public. So, the first thing to know about any abuser is that he looks just like a normal man. There's nothing unusual about him. Nothing to indicate he's an abuser. However, he feels like a man only if his partner is submissive. He always wanted to feel superior to me. And a lot of times he couldn't, and he didn't like that. He lies easily without feeling any guilt. That is 100% true. It's almost like every time he opens his mouth, it's a lie. And it could be about the simplest thing. You could ask him what he ate for lunch, and he might say nothing, even though you know damn well he ate a cheeseburger, something like that. He expects his partner to stick rigidly to his rules. I mean, he was the hypocrite all the time. He would want someone who was genuine and didn't lie and didn't cheat. He wanted me, but he didn't want to be the same way. For him, it was like, just do what I want you to do, and I'll do what I want to do. He could never be a decent person himself. He has great capacity for self-deception. That one you'd notice more if you're in a romantic relationship and it's been over, let's say a year, because he believes his own lies. So he would genuinely think that I had done something to him, like that I had, slighted him in some way. And that's why, he would claim that that's why he was going to cheat on me, because I had done something terrible to him. But when I'd ask for clarification, and I'd say, well, what did I do? When did I do it? Well, he could never answer. So I guess self-deception doesn't really get into the weeds of things, It's this very surface level. He would think, you did this to me, and so that's why I'm doing this to you. Even though I, really didn't do anything. It's just, he can believe his own lies. He has an explosive temper, triggered by minor frustrations. Now that one, you'll see if you've known him just even a month, because his anger is uncontrollable, and it will just lash out at the smallest of things that normal people wouldn't even get mildly upset over, and he'll be in a full-on rage about it. He has a massive ability to fool others outside the relationship by acting as a loving partner in public. Well, he also has a massive ability to fool others because he makes up lies, and he will just come up with all kinds of things to smear my name. So one, it makes him feel better about himself, and two, so that way, when I tell the truth, you are less likely to believe me, because he will have created some other, version of me in your head. He is extremely jealous and possessive. Very true. one day, it was less than a week before I was moving out. So we were pretty much, we were broken up. And this was in February of 2022. And he called me to ask me something. And I said, I'll check when I get home. And he said, well, where are you? And I said, I was going to eat lunch. And he was like, where, with who? And I was like, St. Pete, with a friend from work. And he was like, a guy? And I said, yeah, he's a male. And he's like, oh, great. Okay. So you're going to eat lunch with a guy. Mind you, the reason that I'm moving out is because he's been cheating on me for the past year, or a little over a year. So yeah, he made a big deal about, me going to meet somebody to eat lunch for strictly platonic, as he had been, lying to me and cheating for over a year. He projects the blame for the relationship problems onto his partner. That one is just so blatantly obvious. He did it from the beginning, but I didn't really understand it back then, because I would always think, what did I do? Like, I don't remember doing that, or how did that happen? And it's very insidious, and just, you'll notice that, I would say within 3 months for sure. Because, if something doesn't go his way, or heaven forbid you tell him no, or he's in a bad mood, he'll blame you for it. He's in a bad mood because of you. Like, whatever's going on in his life, pretty much it's your fault. He might be described as having a dual personality. I used to say he's Jekyll and Hyde. I thought he was bipolar. That's what I originally thought. I didn't realize, that it was the psychopathy and the narcissistic personality disorder. But, in the early days, I thought he was bipolar, because it was like he was two people. He can be kind and charming, and then cruel and selfish, depending on his mood. He has unreasonable expectations of how his partner should behave. Like I said, he wants you to be honest and faithful and there for him at all times, but he will lie to you, lie right to your face, walk out the door and go hook up with somebody else, and never be there for you, not even in your darkest of days. He has only ever had superficial relationships. You'll notice he does not have any friends, and the ones he does have are very superficial. They're just acquaintances. They're not really friends. They're maybe people that live nearby, or people that he does drugs with. There are no, meaningful relationships in his life. There's nothing with depth to it. I mean, not even his family, because his family, they're done with him. It's like you can only take so much for so long. This is something he always did, and it reinforces the trauma bond. So it's very bad. Intermittent reinforcement is a pattern of psychological abuse that can occur in relationships when rewards are given out inconsistently. It can involve alternating between loving and abusive behavior. It can be used by narcissists and other emotionally abusive people to keep their partner in an unhealthy relationship. It was very confusing because, it would be like one day he would be nice and sweet and, acting like attentive and, oh, he cares so much. But then, 1 or 2 days later, he's yelling and screaming at me and treating me like garbage. And then I'd be sad. And it was almost like he enjoyed my sadness. But, he wouldn't let it get too far along because then I would be wanting to end the relationship. And that's when he'd be nice again.